The dead speak! Listen. Hear them calling to you. No, don't let them in. Don't engage. That's what they want. To escape their isolation, to take you, to take over. Let us handle them. You just need to head over to patreon.com/WassessCastProductions. For less than the cost of a discount house the bank refuses to provide a history of, you can support our show. As bonus episodes, early access, and exclusive content just for you and that little voice inside your head. Scary good deals, day and night. Patreon.com/WassessCastProductions. Let the terror time begin. We've been called podcasters, film reviewers, wackos. We prefer to be known simply as the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast that will cast your demons to hell. You don't need God. You've got me. I'm your host, Arain Waseska, and with me today I'm joined by Ryger Metters.
Greetings.
Yeah. We are beginning the greatest episodes of the season, the terror time, and this season's theme, of course, is going to be spooky ghosts. I'm looking forward to it. The intro song this week is some version of Lavender Town. I don't know which one I'm going to pick. I might just do a bunch of them. We'll find out by the end of the season. You can follow us on various platforms of choice, including Patreon, YouTube, Pippa, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, and many, many more. If anyone can get us onto some kind of horror aficionado website to kind of promote this shit, send them some links. Show them what we got. Show them what we got.
Show them what we got.
That's what I forgot to talk about in the pre-roll, Ryan. Fucking Rick and Morty.
You said you would remember in the podcast. God damn it.
Dude, Beth is a clone and not a clone at the same time. It's great. Anyway, so it's that time of year again, guys. We're back for Terror Time. This year, we take turn to the realm of spirits, ghosts, and demons. And nowhere better to start than 2013's The Conjuring. Written by Chad Hayes and Carrie W. Hayes. I wonder if they're together. And directed by James Wan. The film would go on to gross a total of $319 million. As usual with James Wan, that's approximately 15 times what it costs. He turns around a good dollar quick.
Yeah, that's a good ROI. Jeez. And we already know that horror films make good money if done very well.
Especially with the Blumhouse stuff, which I think James Wan's a part of. Like, they do great stuff, man. Like, most studios are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make something happen and getting some return. These guys are doing 15 to 20 times on a regular basis. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
The cast includes Sterling Jurens. I'm pretty sure I spelled that right. John Brotherton, Shannon Cook, Kayla Deaver, Mackenzie Foy, Joey Keane, Haley McFarland, Shane Lee Caswell, Ron Livingston, Lily Tyler, Vera Farmiga, and the Ocean Master himself, Patrick Wilson.
Oh my God! I forgot he played Ocean Master. You know who I think of when I see Patrick Wilson?
Who?
I still think of Night Owl from fucking Watchmen.
You know who I think of? I know it's not the same actor, but he reminds me of Job from Arrested Development. Will Arnett. He reminds me of Will Arnett.
Oh my God.
Like, have you ever seen them in the same room? They might be the same person.
You might be right, honestly.
This movie got some awards. No surprise. It's got a lot of credibility for bringing back horror in the 2010s. With the Saturn Award, an Empire Award, a Golden Schmo, a Golden Trailer, and an IGN Award for Best Horror Film of the Year. 2 Fangoria Chainsaw Awards for Best Wide Release Film and Best Supporting Actress. And 5 Fright Meter Awards for Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, Best Cinematography, Ensemble Cast, and Best Horror Movie. The Fright Meter Awards, Ryan. Like, that's
the Fright Meter Awards.
That's great. That's great. I love this season because we get the weird awards we don't hear about anywhere else. Ryan, I believe you have some fun facts for us.
I do. 3, in fact. 8 generations of families have lived and died in that house before the parents moved in. Andrea parents suggested that some of the spirits from families never left. Deaths included 2 documented suicides, a poisoning death, the rape and murder of an 11-year-old girl, 2 drownings, and the passing of 4 men who froze to death.
I don't know about that one. What the fuck was up with that?
Yeah, that one's one of these things is not like the other. Most deaths occurred within the Arnold family, from which Bathsheba Sherman was descended. The state of Rhode Island does not require home sellers to disclose documented histories of a location's criminal activity, let alone alleged paranormal and supernatural hauntings to potential buyers. This is why the parents were unaware of all previous events. I am never fucking moving to Rhode Island.
Nope, Rhode Island's off my list.
You could not pay me to live there.
Reminds me of the episode of Breaking Bad where Jesse used the knowledge of the house having a meth lab in it to get a good deal on it.
Yep.
That was great.
God. Well, next up, the real Annabelle doll was actually a used Raggedy Ann doll that was bought by Donna's mother at a hobby shop, and was known not only for leaving notes on parchment when there was no parchment around, but also attacked a friend named Lou by mysteriously leaving claw marks on his chest. The makers of the movie decided a more sinister-looking doll of porcelain should be what the movie used. Good on you, because that looked fucking terrifying. I hated it.
You look at that doll and it reminds me of Chucky, and I'm thinking to myself, what fucking parent buys this for their kid? Now, Raggedy Ann that's cursed. Yeah, I could see someone buying that. It's a Raggedy Ann. Who gives a shit? But who buys this thing? What the fuck?
Yeah. Also, the like one of the eyes had essentially a gouge in it that looked like the eye had been stabbed. So I'm just like, this screams a demonic doll. Why? Why the fuck would we even? Good God. Well, the final fun fact we have for you, this is the first film in the Conjuring universe, an extended cinematic universe of horror films, because Marvel did it and so everybody else needs to do it. As of October 2019, the franchise included 7 films, 2 Conjuring films, 3 Annabelle films, The Nun, and The Curse of La Llorona. A 3rd Conjuring film is scheduled to release in 2020, unless The Curse of La Corona delays it too.
I appreciate that joke, and that was great.
It was good.
I was going to say, I think from what I've been reading, this actually is one of the most successful cinematic universes after Marvel, because, it consistently turns out profits. They haven't really had very many duds. La Llorona is, the worst one from what I hear. And even that, I think, turned some returns. This is definitely a franchise that's a sleeper, but it's doing good. If only Godzilla franchise could do this good. God damn it.
The Godzilla franchise is doing pretty good in terms of quality of movie, just not in return, since, well,
that's what I mean.
Movies cost a fucking grip to make.
I know, but that's what I mean, though. I wish they could, turn some more money around, but it's not so much the fact they're expensive, it's just that no one goes to see them, and it's
yeah.
Man, America, you guys suck. Not only can you support racist cops, you can't support Godzilla. What the fuck?
I mean, honestly, Kong Skull Island. I can talk about that shit for an hour.
We could. We did. Go check that podcast out.
Please do, guys. It's really good.
Initial thoughts on this film. Ryan, I fucking love this movie. To me, horror films had a pretty noticeable slump going into the 2000s. I don't remember a lot of good ones in the 2000s, to be quite honest. There's a few standouts, of course, but most of them just kind of sleepers. Conjuring really kicked horror films into high gear for the 2010s, and while I don't think this is anywhere near the Netflix's Haunting of Hill House level, dude, that shit was great. This is still pretty damn good.
Okay. Well, I am what many would refer to be a bit of a punk when it comes to horror films. So this this movie was hard for me to watch. Mostly the first part of the movie, the first 40 minutes or so, actually, which is a pretty sizable chunk, I was really not enjoying it. I did enjoy. I did enjoy the movie past that, where
The Warrens show up.
yeah, the Warrens actually get to like do shit, and like we get to like actually figure out what's going on with the house, and then they actually have to do the exorcism. And like I thought all of that was really great, but the first 40 minutes just felt like it was just winding itself up. It was just jerking itself off at that point. I was just so mad at it because it's like every time we went to the family, it felt like, hey, look at how nice this family is. Watch them get victimized for half the fucking movie. I'm like,
I mean, but for horror aficionados, that's kind of what you're there for. It's kind of like going to a slasher movie. You're there to see the people get killed. You're not there to see someone solve the case.
I'm there to see, man. See, this is why. Like this particular genre is not really my thing. So
I know. I feel bad when you shove this on you every year, but I appreciate you sticking with it, though.
I'm game. I promise. God damn it.
I mean, we could be doing Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
No, never again. Fucking killed Let's Plays for me. Get out of here.
Anyway, I've got a synopsis here for you, Ryan. Are you ready?
I am.
Gotta clear my throat here. The parents move into a new home their dog refuses to even piss in. It's a big, spacious home, lake view, lots of storage space, a rich history, and it's haunted by demonic spirits, one of which, one of the kids it inadvertently awakens, playing a music box. Yeah, a good seller. Incidents occur night after night at 3:07 a.m., including sleepwalking, mysterious noises, breakable shit hitting the floor, and people seeing mysterious figures about. Again, it's a real motivated seller. Desperate, the mother seeks out help, the only place she could think of, a community college guest speaker. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the Ghostbusters before the 80s, they work for the church and arrive to determine if what's going on is a ghost, a demon, or just Jesus pulling some old prank. He was quite a stinker.
Oh my God.
It doesn't take long for Lorraine's spirit sense to kick in and feel all kinds of spooks near them. They get up some tech and try to catch this ghost, and even call in the local sheriff who's ready to shoot these ghosts. No questions asked. Insert jokes. I've got Robbie that turned to edit. Let's see. They also make attempts to prove the existence of this spirit beyond a shadow of a doubt. They get enough to send to the church, but things escalate when the mom takes two of the kids back to the house after everyone leaves. Lorraine has deduced that the spirit is a former witch trial victim who possesses mothers within the home to kill their children. Sounds like a job for social services, am I right? Since we can't wait for the exorcism any longer, Ed takes it upon himself to banish the demons to hell. Things don't go quite as planned when the mom gives him the chair. With the power of God, he choke-slams that spirit out of the plane of existence. The family is saved, and the Warrens go into a career that would make even the Scooby Gang jealous. So, Ryan, what'd you think of that movie?
I mean, like the second half of the movie is really fucking good. Like, it's very well done. Like, I like the things I enjoyed the most were figuring out like how the specific instances of that haunting related to the person who died. The fact that all of the clocks stop at 3:07 a.m. and that was when her time of death was pronounced, I thought was a really great touch. Mm-hmm. The seriousness that the exorcism like took was just like, I'm not gonna do this exorcism with you guys in the room because some shit's gonna get dangerous, and it that whole ending act was really, really great. But 40 fucking minutes of wind up, I hated it. I was so mad at it. It was just like the first half of the movie was like what had me feeling. Why do people watch these movies? Why are these movies fun? It's like let me ask you, do you just like being scared? Do you just like getting wound up?
So, I'm trying to think of how I go into horror movies. So, very rarely do I ever get scared in a horror movie. Like, yes, a jump scare will get me because you don't see it coming and they design it that way. They don't always get me, but the jump scares will get me. What gets me with horror movies is that lingering fear after the film. Like, for example, Halloween, the very first one, which I know we've talked about before. Mm-hmm. After seeing that as a kid, and not a kid, like a teenager, I think, I would sometimes be walking around the neighborhood or walking around with friends or just hanging out. It was like late at night or something, and sometimes I'll just get this like creepy feeling over my shoulder something's watching. And this kind of thing happens to me, especially after watching a horror film. So for Conjuring, for example, I know we went to bed later that night, and there was that sneaking suspicion that something's watching or something's in the room, and I know there isn't. Just my overactive imagination doing its thing. But like it's just that lingering feeling afterward. I know that sounds like you shouldn't be doing that. What the fuck's wrong with you? But part of me is like, I kind of like this whole like weird paranormal world and diving into it. Like, I don't know how to explain it really. It's really tough to kind of get into what makes it appealing to me. But I guess I just really like the exploration of this unknown side of the world that we don't really hear about. And I mean, it depends on your belief, if you believe in ghosts or not or whatever. But it's just a side that is fascinating to me that I'd love to have some more concrete information on. You see ghost shows like Ghost Adventures and stuff like that trying to dive into this stuff too, and I feel like that's kind of what gets me into it. Is just Scooby-Doo, Ghost Adventures, all sorts of other weird like paranormal, supernatural, haunting stuff, or just weird supernatural events people want to look into more information on. Like, I don't know. It's that side of the world that fascinates me, which I've repeated multiple times, I know.
I get that. And, like, I'm not against that. I mean, that's pretty much the entirety of the second half of the movie. Where they actually, like, figure out what the entity is, why it's doing the things they do, how to combat it. And like the dangers of combating it. I think that stuff is great.
You're more focused on the first half, though.
The first half, why? Why 40 minutes of wind up?
So
half the movie.
So here's my thoughts. I think the reason they do that in most horror films, and I think the better ones don't need to do that as much one. So looking at Haunting the Hill House, I think they do a much better job winding up, but not being like at 11 for it the whole time. You know what I mean?
Well, so here's my issue with it, and like this is the thing that really like stood out for this movie. Now, I'm not decrying the horror genre. I'm decrying this, like the first half of this movie, because in other horror films, you have like the first half of the movie as like winding up and just getting more and more unsettling, but it also feels like the story is progressing. In this movie, it feels like for 40 minutes, you're watching this nice family that you don't want anything to happen to be terrorized, and then the people that are going to move the plot show up. It's like 40 minutes of just tension and terror, and then, okay, now let's actually tell the story.
Well, so I'm not trying to defend the movie completely, because I think you make a good point. But I think a lot of what happens in the first 40 minutes is designed to help inform of the situation and help inform of what the spirits are all about. Because the 307 thing, yeah, you find out the details about it later, but I mean, it's reinforced by it happening at 307 every night, and you're seeing it happen multiple times throughout that first 40 minutes. And that's just one example. And I think the other thing, too, is you have to remember that this is quote-unquote based on a true story. And so the events these people go through, it does take several nights of this, several maybe weeks of this going on before they can actually get help, and that's even if they can find anyone who is capable of helping. So I think they're trying to best represent the torture that the people actually quote unquote went through, to that leads into this whole incident in the first place.
I guess I just really didn't like it. I just hated it so much.
Well, Brian,
I get what you're saying. I guess like at the end of the day, it does boil down to like my preferences on the genre. Yeah. I have seen horror movies that I thought were really good and that did a good job of building and maintaining tension while also like spreading the story out over the course of the movie. That's like my big pet peeve with this movie, is that the pacing is off, because it's just like 40 minutes of just sit and stew in looking at shadows like for 40 minutes and just winding you the fuck up, and then let's actually see what it's about. That's my issue.
Right. You're totally not off base at all. In fact, in a few weeks we'll be talking about one of the best movies ever made, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and that right there, build up the whole way through, but it all leads to something. It all is about something. It is, perfect. But we'll get to that in a few weeks. Spoilers. I agree. This is not the best handling of this, but it's a solid handling for what they're trying to go for. But like I said, back to my earlier comparison of Haunting in Hill House, I think that one handles that balance and handles the lead up and the storytelling, and the wind up and storytelling go at a better rate and line up better than what this one does.
100%. Like, because towards the beginning of Haunting, of like Hill House, I was mad at it, but it was also interesting to see the storytelling and the drama that they were building in the early episodes. So it felt like a family drama with just a lot of tension. And then at the end of it, when all of the family building in the early bit makes everything hit harder, and the whole thing comes together as a narrative. Now that is brilliant. That's brilliant stuff. I want to see that more often.
I think the problem with this one, though, and I'm not trying to excuse it, I think it is a problem with the film, there might be too many characters to juggle. You have three daughters and the parents, and then you have all these other people who do the paranormal stuff. I get you have to have a couple people for paranormal. That makes sense. You have to have the parents. That makes sense. But I think having 3 full kids is a bit much. It's a lot to juggle, and it makes it so you have to share all this screen time with everybody, and all these different issues going on. And I don't know. They might have been trying to bite off more than they could chew.
Yeah, but that's the curse of trying to tell a true story.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah. Ryan, I've got a question that kind of ties into this first act, though.
All right.
What are 3 minimum things you need to see or have happen to you to confirm your house is haunted and you need to get the fuck out?
Oh man. This is one of the big reasons why I don't want like a huge house like Allegra and I. Like, we're not like too much empty space. Nah, that's just gonna fuck with me. But in term, like, because I need to be aware of my surroundings, and too much space is too hard to keep track of. Let's see. 3 minimum things that I need to happen. Well, as soon as stuff starts like explicitly moving without either of us touching it, that's strike 1, and that's a serious strike 1. Namely, like when I start hearing things, and like in combination with things being moved, that's definite strike 2. Like, and the one moment I see something that I literally cannot explain, it's like, all right, we're getting a new house. That's it. Nope, we're not even playing with it.
For me, the animals not wanting to go in the house would be a big one.
Ooh, yeah.
Because there's a whole thing that animals can see and feel things that humans can't, and are more in tune with their surroundings and nature. And I'm like, okay, if they don't trust this house, I shouldn't either.
Yeah, it's like something bad is here, man. Something is bad. There's danger.
I would say the other thing, and it ties into the second movie, which we'll get into, is when electronics start doing things without provocation. We kind of have a situation like that here, but I think it's just because the Steam device on my TV just triggers sometimes whenever I touch a button, and don't mean to. But no. So in my basement, Ryan, you've been there. Sometimes when I come downstairs, I'll notice the TV's on, and having seen movies like The Ring, that's a little unsettling. So I look and see, and it's just the Steam box has been turned on. I have to turn it off and turn the TV back off. But sometimes it does that. It's like a real shock, like, oh, why is this room lit up? Oh, because the TV's on. Why the fuck is this on? But anything outside of Steam stuff being weird, that'd be strike 2.
So what you're saying is your Steam box is haunted.
Yes, exactly.
Fuck.
That's all the horror games I play. I knew it.
And this is what you get for fucking Five Nights. I told you. Stop fucking with that.
No, when I was a kid, actually, I had this, it was a Godzilla toy from, like, the 1998 Godzilla movie, which we'll talk about later this year, guys. Get ready for it. And one night, I was trying to go to sleep. It just kept going off all the time. like every 5 minutes. Eventually, I went to Dad, and he's sleeping in the living room. I'm like, hey, Dad, my toy keeps going off. He takes the batteries out, but I'm still super uncomfortable with it, so I tell Mom and Dad I don't want to keep it anymore, so we return to Target the next day.
Yeah.
I was like, I just can't handle this. This is too much.
It's like, that's spooking me out now. Nope. Sorry.
And then for
bad memories.
And then for a third one, I mean, I guess I just see things that aren't supposed to be there. When I was a kid, and I know I throw a lot of fucking great shit at you today. When I was a kid, there was one time my dad was away, and I was like probably like 4, maybe 5, and so I got to sleep upstairs with Mom in her bed. And during the night, I saw figures like just standing around talking, and I didn't hear anything, but I could see them, and it was weird. And I didn't know what was going on. And then later that same night, I saw what I thought was Mom going down the stairs for, like, getting up, bathroom, breakfast, whatever. And so I'm like, oh, don't leave me here. I want to come downstairs, too. And I start crawling towards her side of the bed to get off. And I end up, like, crawling on top of her. And she pushes me back. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. So, yeah, that was fucking surreal. I remember that very vividly, though. Because I remember fucking seeing someone going down those stairs.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was fucking weird. Ryan, why would you ever play hide and seek blindfolded? And why would you ever do it on a second floor where someone could easily fall down the stairs?
It was the 60s, and kids were dumb. I don't fucking know.
Fucking get a Game Boy.
Yeah. Now, I would say blindfolded hide and seek actually sounds like a cool idea, just not with stairs in the mix. That is asking for a broken neck. That's just asking for it. Or like you confine the game to one floor, to literally only one floor. Like if you're playing on the second floor, you put something
chairs
like a
or
scarf
something. Yeah.
or a chair or something like in front of it, so that way whoever's there, if they touch like the scarf, they know, okay, that's the stairs, stay away from there.
Yep.
So like some way to child-proof the game. But aside from that, the concept of it is actually pretty cool. It's kind of like a dryland Marco Polo. So
a little bit.
I dug the game, but you're right, it was stupidly dangerous with 2 floors.
And of course the haunting, but they didn't know that.
And and the ghosts.
This is a little more personal, Ryan. A little more deep of a question. What kind of afterlife do you believe in? And does this afterlife include room for ghosts and spirits in the physical plane of existence?
All right. Well, I was raised Christian, Baptist, and I largely hold to those beliefs now as an adult. So yes, I do believe in the existence of an afterlife, heaven and hell, like that whole bag. I definitely do. However, I am also wise enough to know that I don't know shit in regards to like what actually happens after we die. So it would be really dumb and closed-minded of me to like straight up like deny the possible existence of these of ghosts and the paranormal. I definitely think that there's more to this life than anybody can actually know, and we won't know that stuff until we pass that threshold. So I will always listen to people when they say they've had experiences. If I didn't have that experience, that's one thing, but I wouldn't discredit anybody else who did, because they very well might have.
Yeah, I could dig that. So I am married into a family that is very big into ghost hunting and ghost stuff. One of the first times I got to meet Amanda's family was when we went over to her uncle's place to do a like ghost hunting kind of thing. They have all the gear and everything. Like they're legit serious about it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
They have like recorders, they have cameras, they have all this shit. And I'm like, okay, this is a thing. So it was definitely an interesting experience there. So yes, I am marriagely obligated to believe in ghosts. But before that, I don't know. Part of me is like, I want to believe that there's something beyond what we have here, because A, life would be very boring without that extra bit of fantasy to it. So I like to think that there is something else. But there's a lot of unexplained stuff that happens in the world, Ryan, and it's nice to have some kind of like, well, I don't know what the answer is, but this could be it, and ghosts could be one of those. This could be it, sort of things.
Definitely.
And more to that too. I don't know. I just would like to, believe that maybe someday we can reach out to those who have left us, or be possessed by demons. I don't know.
I would hope that we can't be possessed by demons. That's one thing that I would love to be proven false.
I mean, I've seen Jackie Chan Adventures, and when you can shoot fire out of your hands by being possessed by a demon, that's pretty sick.
Heat beam eye blast. Heat beam eye blast.
I love that you know that show enough to be able to make a reference. That's great.
Levitation plus speed equals flight. Don't you know?
Such a good show. Such a good show.
I like that.
Let's see, what else do I got here? Okay, Ryan, this film claims elements of it are based on a true story. Obviously, the Warrens do exist, and they did perform works for the church regarding paranormal activity. Not the movie, but actual activity by paranormals. What elements of this specific story do you feel were accurately being portrayed? And what elements do you feel were embellished for the sake of the narrative?
Well, let's see here. I think the bit of bureaucracy regarding the Catholic Church not wanting to get involved because the family wasn't baptized, I think that's 100% true.
That's definitely true.
I'm not trying to throw any shade on the Catholic religion, like on the Catholic faith, but that definitely rings true. That definitely rings true to me. I strongly believe that Lorraine did have an ability to sense energy or get like echoes and visions of people. I have met people in real life that have had a sensitivity to various energy and like dealing with people. They're some of the sweetest, most empathetic people I've ever met, but it's also like had a toll on them. So the struggle that Lorraine was going through with really wanting to help people, but also like it's taking a toll on her, I thought was very, very true to life. Even like whether or not you believe in the existence of the supernatural, I think wanting to help people despite how much it hurts you, I think that's definitely true to life for some people, and I thought it made her a really great character.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely think the Warrens are fucking the what do you call it, the linchpin of this whole thing. Like if you didn't have them, this film would not be nearly as good as it is.
Oh yeah.
To that end, Ryan, what is your take on the relationship between Lorraine and Ed, and what makes their marriage work so damn well?
I think it's a combination of love, obviously, and
it's love, Harry.
It's love, but I think it's the idea that both of them believe in something, like, and have had experiences with other things that people call them crazy over, but they believe each other. I think that like having your partner's back is the linchpin to a really, really solid relationship. And especially when the two of you believe in ghosts and demons and the paranormal, like being able to have a rock where that shares your ideas on that and believes you when you tell them things that beyond belief that have happened to you. I think that's really what makes them such a great unit together. So, plus Vera Farmiga is a fantastic actress. I have the biggest crush on her, actually.
Yeah, no, I think they do a good job portraying these two, and I think what you said really sticks. And yeah, the fact they believe each other as well, like it gets addressed in the second movie, which we'll dive into here shortly. But the fact that they believe each other when very few others would, it just goes to show what they needed is they have what they need within each other, and I think that's what a relationship really is finding someone who needs you as much as you need them.
Yeah.
What What do you think of the film's minimal use of gore and lack of character death, minus the dog, of course?
Poor dog. That poor goddamn dog. I think it's definitely a choice, and it's more of a common choice that I'm seeing in horror or in thrillers too, because like especially for me, the most tension and fear comes out of the unknown and out of the implied. So like once things become explicit, like once you actively see the chair getting thrown across the room and actively see the girl being pulled by her hair by something invisible, that's when like it's like there's tension, but it's less tense for me because now I know what we're dealing with. Whereas the first half of the movie and a large part of it afterwards, it allows you to color in your own fear. Like it leaves a lot unsaid, and it just gives you a lot of like double takes at dark corners. So part of your mind is waiting for the jump scare to happen. Part of your mind is trying to figure out what's going to jump at you, if it's going to be in the corner or if it's going to be behind the person when they do the fucking fourth or fifth double take back. So painting with that uncertainty rather than just like the explicit gore is definitely what makes this movie so unsettling for me. And I think if that's your aim, they do it really well.
I applaud the idea a little bit. I'm not the biggest fan of gory horror films. Not saying that they aren't worth having or they don't have a place. I mean, we saw the zombie films last year, and certainly the ones with gore in them weren't bad. I would just say that I think films that can, like you said, take advantage of the unknown and take advantage of our imaginations versus fucking buckets of blood, they tend to do better. They tend to really evoke these primal fight or flight responses because you don't know what's coming. I think when we eventually get to eldritch horror stuff like Cthulhu and like The Lighthouse and like those other stuff in that particular genre, we're going to see more of that because a lot of that stuff is implied. A lot of it is psychological, and it really does dive deep into the human condition in very terrifying ways. So, but Ryan, it's got
make me watch all of this.
But Ryan, it'll have Willem Dafoe.
Fuck. No, see, I definitely want to watch Willem Dafoe, but here's the thing. Willem Dafoe is terrifying in a funny way because, like, he's ridiculous and, like, really, like, animated, but it's always in, like, a fun or an action-y context. So telling Willem Dafoe to actually be scary, I think will give me a fucking heart attack.
He'll just come in your room while you're sleeping. He'll be like,
seriously!
Hey, Ryan, I'm here for your soul.
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind. He's just gonna be sitting on my fucking couch, monologuing. I'm gonna lose my mind.
A little glass of wine in one hand and a gun in the other.
God, damn it.
We need to make this movie, Ryan. This will be great. Plus, we get to meet Willem Dafoe. That'll be fun.
God, oh yeah, I'd do that. I'd be willing to be scared if I met Willem Dafoe.
Final question I've got, Ryan, then I'll open the floor to you if there's anything you want to add. We certainly see more work from James Wan. We'll certainly see more works from James Wan soon, and we've seen plenty before. Do you see any trademarks or director quirks in this film that you've noticed in his other works at all?
Well, we've watched The Conjuring 1 and 2 and Aquaman. That's really all I know him from. I was trying to figure out the links to I was essentially trying to figure out why he was given the shot for Aquaman, because Aquaman is not a Aquaman has one particularly scary sequence, but aside from that, it's not really a horror film at all.
Well, let me look up something while you're talking here real quick. I think I want to see one other thing he might have been in or done.
Yeah. But regardless of that, I think an emphasis on character work and development is definitely key in both of these films. Like I said, he does a lot with painting, like the painting of the unknown and letting you like find out like fill in your own fears here, like and just like waiting so fucking long for the jump scare. So it's almost like you fake yourself out like 2 or 3 times before he fucking scares you, which I personally hated, but I think is really, really great for horror. Because if your objective is to go into this movie and be scared, like, you're going to scare yourself a bunch of times, and then James Wan will scare you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in terms of, I'm not entirely sure how it links to Aquaman, but for these 2 films that we watched this past week, I would say that's like the biggest takeaway for me.
Well, to answer your question about how he got to Aquaman, he did direct Furious 7 in 2015.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Okay.
And from what I understand, it is one of the good ones, so...
Okay. Shit, I might have to see Furious 7. Okay. Gotta
But,
do a grand Fast and Furious rewatch.
Oh man, that'll be a season.
That should be a season! Ah!
But anyway, where was I going with this? I noticed a few quirks. And I never really quirks, but things I've seen him do before. The camera movements are definitely something he's really good at. Long tracking shots are something he's really good at as well. You see that in Aquaman for sure. Definitely with the first fight sequence with Aquaman's mom in the house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's really good with long cuts, long takes. He's really good at using shadows for some fun stuff, and he's really good at building tension. And he also has a really good ear for getting the right music for his stuff. I would say he is definitely an actor to look at, or not an actor, a director to look out for. He's going to have some really big hits out there. I mean, we've seen him do Aquaman, $1 billion movie.
He killed Aquaman. He killed that shit.
A movie that should, by no rights, have had $1 billion. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, in any other world, Aquaman would never have made $1 billion.
Yeah. They like he in the hands of this guy, he was able to take the character that everybody really boiled down to. He talks to fish. And really make him as formidable as he's supposed to be in the comics. Like, that's impressive. That's really impressive.
So yeah, I am all in James Wan's court. I'm ready to see what he's going to do next, and we'll be seeing something really fun next week. But before we do that, Ryan, I've got a mail call, unless there's something else you want to add to the conversation.
No, like the biggest thing I was trying to figure out was why people like this, but we talked about that already.
So the mail call. Ryan, if people want to reach out to us, they can go to us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. Leave some comments down below. Let us know what you like about horror films. Why do you like this tension so much? Or even better yet, what are your favorite horror movies? Any ghost stories that you want to tell us? You can let us know in the comments. You can let us know on social media. And of course, Ryan, if they want to email us their stuff, where could they email those spooky stories to?
Yep, they can email those to secondrateexorcisms at excuse me. Sorry. That's evacstation@gmail.com.
How much do you think an exorcism costs?
You can't really even qualify for one unless you're baptized. So
I mean, true.
Technically, then it costs your soul.
How much does an exorcism? I'm gonna look it up. We're gonna find out if Google will tell me. Okay,
I would think it'd be really shitty if the church actually charged you for them to get rid of an evil spirit that was possessing you.
Okay,
that's kind of their thing.
So from Quora, the response answer to the question is from Chrisley Anderson Moreno, former director of religious education, from 2010 to 2014. So this is a little old, but still counts. There is no set price for anything in the church, nor is an exorcism something just any priest can do, nor can just anyone ask for one, and it has to be done simply because it be done simply because someone wants one. It's a long process. Each diocese has its own exorcist, and each circumstance has to meet a set of criteria to have one done. Mental illness and other issues must be ruled out first. But I'm sure, like everything in the church, a priest will ask for a stipend for the service. However, most priests don't set these things. They leave it up to the family to give what they want. And of course, that gift should correspond with how much time and effort the priest has put into each case, as each would be very difficult. Same with a funeral, a wedding, etc. Personally, if I thought it necessary to have an exorcism, then it's really bad. If an ordinary blessing can't take care of it, and I'd give a nice sum. However, it does help when a priest. It does help when priests are your friends. My priest would gladly bless my home for a cost of a pizza. But again, an exorcism is not a simple, ordinary thing. I think an actual exorcism would warrant at least $200. If you need to have one done, or if you need to have one come, something is bad wrong. And his time is precious.
Something is bad wrong.
Yep. Something that was hard to read because of the grammar. But yeah, so, ballpark it $200 or more.
That's a pretty like sweet deal, honestly.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I will pay you $200 if you get rid of the demon that's infesting my home. Sure.
Listen, I don't necessarily want to get rid of the demon entirely. I just want to make it so he has to play video games with me instead of taking over the world. What do I have to pay for you to get him in like a bear or something?
Like you know what? Fucking, I know how to make the demon leave. I will charge it rent. If you're going to live here, you need to cough up this electric bill, man. Come on.
Listen, Beelzebub.
You turn the TV on at 3:07 a.m. every night, man. Fuck you. You're paying something on this electric.
Listen, Beelzebub. We gotta talk, okay? This unwarranted use of my faucet. Our water bills are skyrocketing here. You gotta chip in, okay? We can't have this anymore. Ryan, let's get to the final thoughts here. We rank the film, usually from platinum to trash, all the codes in between. But as always, they're Halloween season, Ryan. We got buckets of blood to go with every time.
Yup.
So, Ryan, bucket or fuck it? What do you think?
I think aside from the fucking 40-minute wind-up session, this is a very, very good horror movie. If you're like me, that doesn't really like to be scared, this probably isn't one you want to get to, but past the first 40 minutes, it's actually pretty good. I think the storytelling that they did with the actual story of the witch and the Warrens trying to figure it out, piece together, and actually performing the exorcism was really, really well done. But half the movie being wind up is really not great for me. Mm-hmm. Still, since it's a pass or fail, I'm still gonna go bucket. Despite the 40-minute wind up, it was still a very, very, very good horror movie.
Yep. Ryan, just a fun fact: one of the campaign ideas I had for D&D combined Conjuring, Supernatural, and Scooby-Doo into one like blend of things, and it was an idea I really wanted to kick around for a while. I need to figure out how to get that off the ground. I need people though. I need people. Anyway, for my ranking, if this was a normal season, I'd probably give it as a silver. So it's on the upper half. So I'm definitely giving it a bucket of blood. I would say that for me, this is not the best horror film out there. It is a very solid horror film for sure. It has all the fundamentals down. It builds tension. It has some good characters that you're invested in. I think what holds it back is definitely an over-reliance on jump scares, where we've seen master classes of films that do not really mess with jump scares or have very few of them, like Haunting of Hill House, The Shining, and so on. I would say that this is definitely still worth your time checking out if you like ghost stories and horror films, but there are better ones out there, and we can certainly recommend them as the season goes on, because we will have more. Much more. I know one in particular I didn't mention yet that I'm excited to get to very soon. Poltergeist, that'll be fun. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I haven't seen Poltergeist or The Exorcist since I was like in high school, so those will be interesting to revisit.
Mm-hmm. I've actually never seen The Exorcist. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never seen the whole thing.
I watched it in broad daylight. I mean, like 2 in the afternoon, windows all the way open in my room, and it still fucked me up when I was a kid. It was spooky. It was fucking spooky.
Oh, it'll be a fun time. So thank y'all for listening, and we will see you after the credits.
Bye.